I was kind of reflecting on what kind of final statement would be for the persistence exhibit, the thing that kept coming to my mind was a sense of time, because I went back and I read my initial request for proposal when I was submitting to the Ramsey County Historical Society. 1 year time frame really interesting because I can reflect back on all the people that I talked with while collecting bras and also just generally talking about the exhibit. And I think of how much great conversation came out of just making this piece of art all the way through now where I'm well completed and we're getting ready for the exhibit to start. I was impressed with the continuity of thought even from over a year ago. And that was, like I said, a year ago, which then made me start thinking, well, it's actually been 100 years, right? That we're actually like focusing on. And I just continued to kind of reflect on time and what time means in relation to women's suffrage. And I was reading back over the website that the Ramsey County Historical Society has that has little summaries of each of the women. And I was also struck by this statement. Later in life, Olson suffered from disappointment and disillusionment. She had hoped to pave the way for women in politics, but after the success of the 1922 election, the entry to women into Minnesota politics was just a trickle for several decades. Minnesota did not send a woman to the U.S. Senate until Amy Klobuchar in 2007. So let's let that sink in for a second. 1922 to 2007. And then I started thinking about how this is all collective individual moments that make up a movement, right? I was thinking of that in my piece itself with Bart. It takes a lot of bras from a lot of women willing to give them to me to make that piece. There's a lot of layers and a lot of participation that go into making that one piece. And then I started thinking of that in a larger sense around all of the artists in the exhibit as well, because I think we all offer such really great and really unique perspectives. If you haven't watched the videos of the other artists, you really should, because there is such a huge range of disciplines, which I just love and I find fascinating. And then also different points of view that those different perspectives and disciplines bring to an exhibit like this. And that kind of, I believe art reflects life. And that is kind of the truest form of it, right? It's multiple different forms of art reflecting this massive movement that happened 100 years ago, but still feels really relevant to today, right? Super excited to hear so many people's reactions, because the best thing about art in general is like, no matter how much you try, people are gonna have their own interpretations and reactions, which I always find fascinating. It's really important to show off my giant tote bin of bras that I've literally collected over the last year or so. It's like literally physically heavy, but I am still collecting bras. Messages in the medium, and I think that there's a great participatory aspect when you donate your bras and then you get to see the art later. I've got other ideas for Bart, so stay tuned on my own channels to see what I come up with next.